Hello, and welcome to my predictions video for TNA Hard To Kill 2024. The last, four episodes of Impact have been recap shows. However, this week's did have one unique segment, the sit-down interview with Moose and Alex Shelley. We'll get onto that when we talk about that match. But yeah, I've talked recently in previous prediction videos about how when I'm not watching the product, it's quite hard to predict it. So I've been watching, and it's all been recaps. So I'm still none the wiser to what they're thinking, really. But at least I'm in the same boat as everyone else this time. Whether you watch or not, you know about as much as I do. Anyway, let's jump straight into the predictions. I'm going to be working down the Wikipedia article from first match to 10th match. Three of them are on the pre-show. And just predicting as best I can some results. So, the first match listed is Rich Swann versus Steve Macklin in a singles match on the pre-show. Now, this is two former Impact World Champions, I'm pretty sure. I know Steve Macklin was last year. Rich Swann was, right? In like 2020, 2021, sometime around then, I think. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Also, let me know your predictions in the comments as well. Greatly appreciated. But, yeah, so it's quite interesting to see this match just on the pre-show thrown together. The fact that Steve Macklin was world champion just last year and is now on the pre-show, this might be part of a rebuild. But hasn't Rich Swann just come back after some time off? So it's quite a difficult one to predict, to be perfectly honest. And with it being listed first, if it does go on first, I'm just going to predict the babyface to win. To start the crowd up happy. So I'm going to go with Rich Swann, but I could definitely see Steve Macklin winning this and using it as a launch point to get back into at least the upper mid-card scene in 2024, but my official prediction is Rich Swann. Up next, another pre-show match, a tag team match player between Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers, accompanied by Alicia Edwards, against Eric Young and Frankie Kazarian. I mean, we've seen Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers before, but both of these teams feel so just sort of thrown together, like haphazardly. I'm going to predict Edwards and Myers. They've teamed together before. They've got the outside interference potentially from Alicia Edwards. And I feel like Eric Young and Frankie Kazarian, they're kind of untouchable. They can take a loss and it doesn't affect their reputation in the slightest at this point in their careers. I think the same could be said for Eddie Edwards to an extent, but I think Eddie Edwards has more upside to winning this. I don't think... Put it this way, if you ask me, if you told me I'm from the future, I'm from the end of this year, and one of these four wins the world title, I'm putting all my money on Eddie Edwards. Like, all of it. I don't see the other, maybe Brian Myers, but he's on the same team as Eddie Edwards. But I don't really see Eric Young and Frankie Kazarian getting to that point. Not because I don't think they deserve it and I wouldn't like to see it. I just think they're now helping out, putting over younger guys and stuff. And they'll be getting wins to keep their credibility up. But I think here, they're not young up-and-comers or anything, but I think you help out the younger guys, and Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers pick up the win. The third and final pre-show match is for the TNA Digital Media Championship. It's a no disqualification match. Tommy Dreamer versus Crazy Steve. I'm just going to say it. I think now is the time to pull the trigger on ending Dreamer's run. He's had an okay run. I felt a bit underwhelmed by it, if I'm perfectly honest, from what I've seen. But, he's carried that title, given it a bit of name credibility from, such a well-known face in professional wrestling history. But yeah, I think Crazy Steve should win here and go on a bit of a crazy run with the title. So I'm going to pick Crazy Steve. All of these matches I could see going the other way, though, I must say. I'm just picking which I think is more likely. But some of these are 60-40s at best. Maybe 51-49s in some cases. So, we shall see. I am going to do a review video of this show, and I will talk about my predictions and how successful or not that I was. So, yeah, make sure you subscribe and you won't miss that. Next, we're on to the main show, and the first match from the main show that's listed on Wikipedia, I don't know if this is officially the match order, but it's the Tag Team Championship match, a fatal 4-way tag team match. ABC defending, that's Chris Bay and Ace Austin, I'll say it more clearly if you don't know. Against the Rascals, which is Zachary Wentz and Trey Miguel. Against Speedball Mountain, which is Speedball Mike Bailey and Trent Seven. And Grizzled Young Veterans, Zach Gibson and James Drake, which is really fun that I'm going to get to watch them on this TNA show. I'm a big fan. I'm not currently wearing shoes, so my shoes are off for the reference of everyone that understands that. But I hate him in the right way, you know, like I absolutely love him. So who's gonna win this? This is like, if I thought the pre-show matches were tricky to call, this is all over the place. Like, Speedball Mountain teamed up and beat the Rascals, but I think partially thanks to ABC, if I remember correctly. But before that, the Rascals had attacked ABC, so it's kind of justified, but they lost. So do they win here to bounce back, or does Speedball Mountain be more likely to win because they've already beat one of the teams in it? ABC have already beaten at least one of the teams in it, the Rascals again. Grizzled Young Veterans are like a complete unknown in terms of where they fit in the TNA tag team pecking order. You know, like, they're known in terms of their talent and what have you, but in terms of how TNA views them, we have no idea right now. They did broadcast on the last episode of Impact a promo video for them where they were talking into the camera, and then someone barged into James Drake and he went and beat him up and then carried on the promo while Zach Gibson carried on talking throughout as if it wasn't happening. That was great. It was a good promo segment. I enjoyed it. Who do I think is going to win? ABC have had the titles for a little while now. I don't think Speedball Mountain are a real long-term thing. I think that it's just the way of introducing Trent Seven, and soon they'll go back to doing their own thing. I feel like Mike Bailey did such big things in singles competition in 2023. I don't think he'll get lumped into a tag team this year, and I don't think Trent Seven needs to be lumped into a tag team either. Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb here. This feels like the sort of environment where some sneaky heels can sneak a sneaky heelish win. Now, would that be amazing if it was Grizzled Young Veterans and they debuted and won the TNA titles? Yes, absolutely. I would love that. I'm not going to pick that, though. I'm going to pick the Rascals to sneak a win here, you know, capitalizing off someone else's hard work, you know, a blind tag. I mean, I don't even know if this is going to be 2 legal men or 4 legal men, like, in terms of the format, but the sort of finish I'm picturing is like 2 legal men, and it's like 2 men from teams that aren't the Rascals in the ring, and one of the Rascals gets a cheeky tag as someone's, you know, on the person who's hitting their finish on someone else, and then come in, dump them out the ring, and pin the person they just hit their finish on. I could picture something along those lines. So I'm gonna pick the Rascals to win, and I've picked 2 title changes out of 2 here. So this is, I've seen TNA do shows where every title changes hands. So, you know, I'm gonna try not to get in my own head about that. But yeah, I've gone 2 title switches out of 2. Up next, Josh Alexander versus Alex Hammerstone. Finally, one I feel like I can predict. Josh Alexander wins. Alex Hammerstone isn't a TNA guy. Josh Alexander is like the ace of TNA at this point. I know he's not in the world title picture right now, but he is basically the ace. So yeah, Josh Alexander wins this. I know they've sort of been hinting slightly at like this like crisis of confidence of trying to get back the world title, but I don't think you lose every match during that sort of story, and I don't think he loses to Alex Hammerstone here. I'm like 80-20 on this one, maybe 85-15. Like, I'm not 100% certain Josh Alexander's winning, but I'm pretty confident. I'm going with Josh Alexander. Next is the Knockouts Ultimate X match to determine a new #1 contender for the Knockouts World Championship. Giselle Shaw, Zaya Brookside, Jodie Threat, Tasha Steeles, Alicia Edwards, and Danny Luna. So Alicia Edwards has a management duty on the pre-show and a match on the main show. So busy bee. I'll be honest, I don't know who Danny Luna is. I'm going to have a quick look now. Open up that page. Zaya Brookside, I obviously know from NXT UK days. Jodie Threat, Tasha Steeles, Giselle Shaw, and Alicia Edwards are Impact regulars. Danny Luna doesn't have a picture on on her Wikipedia article. Oh, she's been on NXT UK probably after I stopped watching though. 2-on-1 handicap loss to Jazzy Gabert. Okay, so that sounds like she's had a bad time. Yeah, all let's talk about here is losses. Loss, and then released. I genuinely don't know who that is. I apologise profusely to any fans of Danny or Danny if she's watching. But I'm looking forward to finding out on the show tonight. So, I think this boils down to Giselle Shaw and Tasha Steelz, personally. First of all, both of the women in the title match are babyface currently. And yes, they're doing a babyface world title match for the Knockouts title there. But overall, it is better to have someone for the fans to root for and someone for the fans to root against. So I think we'll probably get a heel. So that probably eliminates Xia Brookside and Jody Threat. And I'm going to assume, because of symmetry, that Daniel Luna is going to be a babyface in the match as well. So I don't think Alicia Edwards, how she's been booked, has been very threatening to a world champion. She kind of got made to look stupid during the last pay-per-view, the last big show that I watched. I can't remember its name, but she got made to look a bit stupid. So yeah, Giselle or Tasha Steelz. I'm not sure if Tasha Steelz is face at the moment, actually. So maybe that eliminates her singly. But I am going to go Giselle Shaw anyway. I think they've been slowly building Giselle Shaw a little bit, and I think now's the time to push her into that title picture. I don't expect her to win the title with this shot, but just flit her into that scene and back out, to return at a later date and potentially win it. So yeah, Giselle Shaw to win. Next, Dirty Dango versus PCO. PCO. I'm never going to bet against PCO again after I bet against him in the Monsters Ball Fatal 4-Way match and was wrong. So yeah, never bet against PCO. PCO to win. He's not human. That was easy. I love Dirty Dango as well. I love the gimmick of professional wrestler who hates professional wrestling. Like, I love it. I think it's great, but, PCO. Next, we have a triple threat match for the TNA X Division Championship. This could be a lot of fun. Chris Sabin defending against El Hijo, I think is how you pronounce it, El Hijo del Vikingo, and Kushida. Wow. Like, as much as I struggle with his name, I know Vikingo. I know him. Like, I've seen him on the Ring of Honor show. I've seen him on AEW. I don't know him from his Mexican stuff because I don't keep up with Mexican wrestling. But yes, I've been impressed. I'm actually more impressed with Black Taurus. I wish he'd get all the opportunities Vikingo's getting, to be perfectly honest. But I'm very impressed with Vikingo nonetheless. However, he's not a TNA guy. He's a, yes, you could put the title on him for a short run and and then transition it back off him if you've got like a deal in place for 5-10 appearances, whatever. Kushida, I don't know where Kushida's signed at the moment. I haven't got a clue. But I just think I'm going to go with Chris Sabin here. I've picked title changes all over the board so far, so I'm going to pick Chris Sabin to retain. I think that's a good. Chris Sabin, I'm not the world's biggest Chris Sabin fan, but I acknowledge how good he is and think he's, a good face of TNA's X Division for the time being. Honestly, I'm not sure who's even on the horizon for him. Maybe Mike Bailey. Maybe it's Mike Bailey's year. But yeah, I'm going to go Chris Sabin. Next, the Knockouts World Championship. The Jordan Grace's Call Your Shot Championship match from winning the gauntlet at Bound for Glory. So yeah, Jordan Grace challenging Trinity for the title. I genuinely could see this going either way. Trinity's undefeated in singles action. She's obviously been put over really strong since she came into TNA. She's had a really good run with the title. She's beaten like Mickie James and folks like that. But Jordan Grace gets so much from TNA. Like, they clearly love her, and rightly so. She's really good. So like she's the first ever female Call Your Shot Gauntlet winner, for example. Like, she's doing things, and she always seems to be doing big things in TNA. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and pick Jordan Grace here. I honestly think Giselle Shaw versus Trinity is a better matchup than Giselle Shaw versus Jordan Grace. feels more like Charlotte's got a chance with Trinity. I feel like Grace would just squash her, like, but you know, they can do what they want really with booking, can't they? It's not real. But yeah, I'm still gonna go with it, and you know, again, this is a 51-49 for me, but I'm gonna go with Jordynne Grace to win. And finally, the final match listed, which may very well be the main event, was the singles match for the TNA World Championship. It's Moose using his Feast or Fired briefcase to have a world title shot against Alex Shelley. Again, Alex Shelley is now the third longest reigning world champion in TNA/Impact history, behind Bobby Roode and Josh Alexander. And part of me thinks, are they gonna put him into second and have Josh Alexander challenge him to stop him beating his reign? I think that could be a really fun story to build. I don't know how much longer he'd have to hold the world title to build that story, but you know, if it's not too much longer, I think Josh Alexander comes in around the year mark, and Alex Shelley's already way over 200 days. So it's not like, you know, it's summer at worst. I think, you know, and I think that's feasible. But on the flip side, like, Moose is he just oozes star power, and like, he's a former world champion himself. I am going to pick Alex Shelley. But again, this is a 51-49 for me. So yeah, I'm going to pick Alex Shelley to retain. I really like the idea of the Shelley going after Alexander's record and then Alexander trying to stop him story. I think that could be really fun. So yeah, let me recap my predictions, and do let me know yours in the comments while I'm doing so. So I'm picking Rich Swann to beat Steve Macklin, Edwards and Myers to beat Young and Kazarian, Crazy Steve to beat Tommy Dreamer for the Digital Media Championship, the Rascals to win the World Tag Team Championship, Josh Alexander to beat Alex Hammerstone, Giselle Shaw to win the Ultimate X match, PCO to beat Dirty Dango, Chris Sabin to retain the X Division Championship, Jordynne Grace to win the Knockouts World Championship, and Alex Shelley to retain the Men's World Championship. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments what you agree with, disagree with, etc, etc, etc. Subscribe if you're new here so that you don't miss the review once the show has happened tomorrow, and all the other wrestling content that I put out. It'd be greatly appreciated. But for now, all I have left to say is thank you very much for watching. As always, I've been Ebeza, you've been amazing, and I'll see you next time.